Sanibonani Mzansi, igama lami ngubongiwe Banda. I'm the street journey namhlanje. So today we are in Braamfontein and we want to find out from the youth what is their take on the fourth industrial revolution.
I think the fourth industrial revolution is about the digital world we are getting into, a lot of things is used, like when you want to apply for something, you go on the internet. If you want to do banking, you go to the internet. So it's just about how our world is being digitalized.
Well, really, it's going to be a great thing, especially for us here in Africa. I feel like we've been disadvantaged a lot. So maybe if we just adapt to new technology, it's going to open up new jobs for the youth. There's going to be a time where we don't even use papers anymore. Everything is just digital, we're blogging.
It makes things simpler, but it takes away the human factor. Because when it's fourth industrial, it becomes technology doing the job. Now, what about the people now? The people who are doing the job, they lose their job.
And on that note, we want to say hello to Melang Sanbanani, South Africa. Welcome to Expressions. This is definitely the place for you to air your views. I'm your host, Jacqueline Mapala.
I'm your host, Umkolisi Wagamasango. Namhlanje kusihlwa, we discuss one of the most important issues, that's the fourth industrial revolution, which is also known as the digital revolution. Now, the fourth industrial revolution refers to new ways in which we introduce and use technology into our societies. Namhlanje kusihlwa, we ask, is South Africa's youth ready for the fourth industrial revolution, Jackie?
Well, that's a very important question. I mean, imagine a world where humans are slowly being replaced by robots and artificial intelligence. Well, the fourth industrial revolution is bringing technologies that blur the lines between physical, digital, and biological spheres. Technologies like computing, synthetic biology, and robotics will all drastically supersede any digital progress.
Jackie, and did you know the first three industrial revolutions brought to the world water, steam, power, electricity, and digitization? How different is the fourth industrial revolution? Well, as Expressions, we recently attended a digital economy summit, which was addressed by President Cyril Ramaphosa in Johannesburg. Now, this is what took place. Take a look.
Hello and welcome to Expressions, your #1 youth current affairs show here on SABC 1. We are at the Fourth Industrial Revolution SA Digital Economy Summit 2019 here in Midrand Gallagher Estate. Now, President Cyril Ramaphosa is going to be giving the keynote address and opening to the summit. And in a nutshell, this summit is really all about how South Africa can take advantage of the digital revolution that is taking place and how it can be a competitive and global player in this particular space.
Yes, jobs are going to be lost as we embrace the fourth industrial revolution. But many, many more jobs are going to be created as we move ahead with the fourth industrial revolution.
There are things you cannot replace. For example, digital recording cannot replace analog. For those that want or still want to embrace analog, they'll still be given an opportunity. But the fact of the matter is, people like me became brands because of we use digital stuff. I would create 100 songs in a year, whereas if it was with analog recording, maybe I would have done 10 in a year. So it has started way back, but now it's been embraced even by our kids.
And then when we're talking about your rural youth or your disadvantaged young people, I mean, when we're talking even just about basic issues like being able to do your online application, and now we're talking about this huge monster called the digital revolution and the fourth industrial revolution, how do we make sure that they're not excluded and that they continue to have access within our universities?
So I think that firstly, that's the biggest danger, because what this digital revolution can do is it can accelerate the economic divides in our society. It can ensure that those who have been excluded remain excluded, and those who are privileged actually can succeed. And so there's a couple of basic things we have to do. We have to ensure that bandwidth reaches everyone. You cannot be part of the digital revolution if the internet doesn't reach you.
Young people that are seated in the rural areas, you are still going to talk about connectivity before even you talk about the issue of data. The affordability, you're talking about connectivity, so we need to deal with that. Secondly, we need to ensure that the sitters when we're talking about the skilling and the skills that are required, are the sitters, 21 sitters, really doing what is relevant now and responding to the labor market and what the labor market requires today?
Give us a little bit of details in terms of what young people can expect moving forward.
This year, we are working on a plan that must make sure that we're able to connect South Africa throughout the country. But of course, we're still negotiating with funders that can assist us so that we can at least agree that by 2020, 2021, this is so much that we can cover. But there is a target that has been given by government that let's make sure that come 2024, all South Africans are connected.
Definitely, the 4IR is going to change the way we do life and we do business. But of course, I've got my guests in studio tonight with me, and they're going to help me unpack the so important conversation that we wanted to have in studio. And my first guest is Mhlali Ndamase, who is a social media influencer. And I'm also joined by Dr. Kiabetsu Mudimung, who is the acting chairperson of ICASA. Lady and gentlemen, welcome to Expressions.
Thank you for having us.
And of course, I never do this by myself. My co-host Nkolisi is obviously manning our social media, our digital hub, and obviously bringing some of the insights and perspectives that you're going to be sharing about this also important discussion that we're having tonight in studio. I think, Kiabetsu, maybe let me start with you. What exactly is the fourth industrial revolution? I mean, it's a buzzword. We know that it's part of global conversation and it's something that is on the minds of so many leaders. But for a young person, what does this mean?
Yeah, so the fourth industrial revolution, of course, it's the fourth, as the name says it, but it's underpinned by three critical components: artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and the fifth generation network, which is known as 5G. So it is a new way of life, a way of life we have not experienced before. Of course, each and every industrial revolution builds on the successes of the predecessor. So in this case, the third one was more around digitization, which was a nice foundation for taking the world into the fourth.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, as the acting chairperson of ICASA, and you know, ICASA being a regulator in this broadcasting space, why have you permitted, mobile operators to have heavy and very expensive data costs? Because we know that connectivity is the most important part around young people being able to access this digital revolution that we're talking about.
Yeah, indeed. I think connectivity and universal access are the cornerstones of how we will realize this. But as you would recall, as the regulator, we've embarked on a number of interventions in terms of, the whole data cost regime. Last year, we were able to ensure that, data does not expire traditionally as it used to, even though there's still a validity period. But at this juncture, an end user, a consumer, is able to roll over the data or to transfer it within the network when that happens. And of course, I mean, if there are cases of non-compliance where operators perhaps take advantage of consumers, I mean, those can always be reported. Yeah. But indeed, we have intervened. And currently, we are now working on the actual price,
And I'm glad you touched on price, because I was already very skeptical around that. And Mhlali, I want to bring you into this conversation. As a digital native, as someone who's embracing technology, and you've actually managed to take technology and turn it into a business, how does this digital revolution impact you? But I think most importantly, do you feel that the data, the high data cost impacts you and your livelihood currently right now?
I think the cost of data in this country definitely does affect your growth as a social media influencer, as a content creator, because a lot of people struggle to have access to your content. And obviously my entire career is based online. I am a social media influencer, as you said. But it is my career, and that's basically what I do. I create content on YouTube and on Instagram.
And then, so maybe talk to us around how you have managed to sort of jump onto this bandwagon, because it's such a big word. Whenever you think about 4IR, I mean, he's talking about artificial technology and so forth. How have you embraced it? I mean, are there new apps that you're using for your business as a social media influencer?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it is a digital age. There are constantly new apps that are being released to make our lives easier as curators as well. Not necessarily apps for social media per se that other people have access to, but more for like presets and editing and Sorry, please can you just repeat?
No,
the
no,
last
no
bit of your
problem. But
question?
I know exactly what you're talking, because the apps that you're talking about in terms of
Yes.
beauty, they change the way that you look,
Exactly.
right?
You can preview your feed and you can see your content before it goes live on your feed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think maybe just as a closing, Gibbets, before we go into break, what is the impact on young people? Whenever we're talking about, yes, young people must embrace, the fourth industrial revolution, and we're asking the question around readiness. But what is the impact on everyday living? If it's go Dansani or Limpopo, someone somewhere, what is the impact of 4IR to you as a young person?
Look, I think it changes our paradigm. The way we are taught, teaching and learning definitely needs to change. And I'm glad, at the summit which you've just shown, and the president did mention that, coding, programming will be now integrated into our, basic education curriculum. So it changes the way we view life, and as a result, it even changes the way we are educated, the way we communicate, the way we make sense of our surroundings.
Oh, well, I mean, it's up to you for you as a young person, Kochai, to figure out, is this something you're embracing? Are you worried? I mean, issues around jobs, is this something that you feel is a concern for you? Make sure you stay with us, because we're going to unpack this a little bit further. Umkolisi is on the flip side of this. You are watching Expressions. Stay with us.
Do you think that South Africa is ready for the digital world?
I don't think South Africa is ready for the digital world because, first of all, we have elderly people from the apartheid area, so they're not used to the technology that we are going into right now. So I feel like first we need to teach the people about the digital world first, and then we introduce it to them as programs.
The advantage is that things are more innovative, it's more creative, it's quicker, everything just works. There's it's smoother.
I feel like the older generation would have to adapt to it because we're moving fast. The economy needs such systems like the fourth industrial revolution to basically grow.
People strike me when they see they're not getting paid enough. So manje, now they're about to get told that, look, we're about to take your job because the computer's gonna do it better than you. So manje, yeah, it's gonna cause a heavy effect on us.
What happens to the fellow people of our country? Because they're unemployed, and then they might even end up resorting to crime.
Bit of a tongue-in-cheek moment there. Welcome back. You're still with Expressions, your #1 Youth Current Affairs show. Namhlanje kusihlwa siyabuza-ke, is the youth of South Africa ready for the fourth industrial revolution? Now I'm now joined by UJ student Wendy Wagwankosi. Thank you so much for joining us, Wendy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so seemingly we are becoming one big community as a world, and at some point everything will just be at the palm of our hands. But do you think we're ready for the fourth industrial revolution?
Uma ngikhuluma iqiniso mina, angiboni ukuthi sikulungele for fourth industrial revolution because we've just been 25 years into democracy, and basic needs, basic necessities for Black people and everybody else to survive on, it's still a hustle. I don't think we should be jumping the gun by saying that we're ready for fourth industrial revolution when electricity is still a problem in rural areas, education, a basic foundational curriculum in our primary schools, in our creche is still very, very, very low compared to the rest of the world. I think the first step that we should be taking if we want to prepare ourselves for fourth industrial revolution is ensuring that the components that are used for fourth industrial revolution are adapted by ourselves as human beings, so that you cannot say you're going to compete with the robots when you don't even have the necessary skills or knowledge about it. Because if we're going to be competing with robotics or artificial intelligence, I think we also as human beings who are very smart. We can create new systems, and even maybe we might work together with robotics instead of robotics working alone.
Yeah. Wow, and usakhuluma and my tablet switches off, So I want to know from you, do you think this is all going to put us at a space where robots are essentially going to replace humans?
Not really. There's something that robots don't have that we as human beings have. And of course, as human beings, we don't have all the necessary system to obviously work as a robot, because a robot can work 24 hours, and as human beings, there's a certain limit which we can say that I can work as a human being. Because I think if robots are going to replace human beings, it's all going to be about creating monetary assets. What about lifestyle, our own lifestyle as human beings in terms of our diets, in terms of standard of living? Is it going to increase? Is it going to decrease? What about the people in the rural areas? Are we going to leave them behind? Because I'm a person in Johannesburg, I'm educating myself. Obviously, I'm fully equipped knowledgeably of how I can compete with the robots. But what about a person in the rules?
You know, at the back of what you've just said now, you are speaking to a point that the Vice Chancellor actually made on one of the inserts that we saw. Babu Habib, he said that it's going to put abantu who are privileged in a spot where they're able to continue to thrive. So question your access as well becomes pivotal. Would abantu in the rural areas be able to partake and be part of the fourth industrial revolution? So you think that's a concern that we also need to look at?
It's a very huge concern, because the cities are getting even more developed while the rurals still stay in the same states past 25 years. I think if government also focuses on rural areas as much as they focus in cities, in this big economically well-developed cities, I think we might even find better solutions in rules that we might actually be trying to search even right now.
All right. So we as Expressions as well have decided to revolutionize things. Namhlanje we're doing things a bit different. That's why we have your WhatsApp video. Please roll it for me.
Hi Expressions. My name is Daniel, and I do believe that the South African youth is ready to embrace the fourth industrial revolution, but I do believe that there needs to be groundwork, i.e. access to data. It's still not universal and it's very expensive. There's also the education behind technology, which is not really taught in our current curriculum. There's also mistrust in technology that still exists in South Africa, as well as the fact that most of South Africa is still rural. So it can work, but I believe that certain infrastructures need to be made available for everyone.
Kumbulake Mbugeli to also get your views and comments on all our social media platforms. Back to back on opinions. We're now moving to Facebook. Vutlari says, honestly, we ain't ready. Just look at the education system in our country. Of course, that's one of the points that were made also in the video diary. Willie says, definitely we are more than ready. So our educational curriculum, they must initially teach us how to use technology systems like laptops, tablets, and smart boards in every schools across the nation, not only here in Gauteng. And thank you very much for all those views and comments. Mbugeli, siqhubekela phambili with this all-important discussion. Are you ready for the fourth industrial revolution? Go tell a friend to tell a friend that Expression resumes after this.
Welcome back. You're watching Expressions here on SABC 1. We're talking about the fourth industrial revolution. And the poll question that we're asking you, Kochaye, is this. Is South Africa's youth, ready for the fourth industrial revolution? And of course, we have to wrap this conversation up. But Kebe, there were a couple of sentiments that were sort of touched on. But I think the overall feeling is that maybe young people might be feeling a little cynical, skeptical about it. And then obviously there's this issue around connectivity and access, and the fact that it's going to continue to widen the digital divide that exists between urban young people and maybe rural young people. What would you like to say to young people currently right now who are feeling a little bit anxious about this fourth industrial revolution?
Yeah, I think one is that it's upon us. It's, that's where the world is going. We need to embrace it. Machines can never replace human beings. Machines can only change the way we go about our life. Machines have no context. Machines have no perspective, have no perception or stereotypes. And most importantly, machines have no imagination. And that's the bedrock of innovation. So as young people go into careers, it's important for them to really dig deep now, to preoccupy themselves with careers that are more around research and development, and, to make sure that there is a technological integration in the work that they imagine for themselves in the future. And as ICASA, we will continue to really push even in this financial year to make sure that the price of data is at desirable levels.
Yeah, which is great. I'm sure a lot of young people are like, yeah, boy. But I mean, I love exactly what you said, because it tells us that, 4IR is not here to replace human beings. If anything, it's going to give us an opportunity to transcend. Like you were saying, we get to be creative and innovative and more imaginative. And talking about being creative and imaginative, Mogele, right? I mean, you've managed to literally piggyback on this digital revolution that we're talking about, and you've created a business on it. Give some advice to young people who are watching right now, who want to embrace this. And they're like, I'm in KwaZulu-Natal, I'm in Limpopo, I'm in Mpumalanga. I mean, how do I embrace this so that I'm like Mihlali?
I really encourage young people to educate themselves on social media and the digital age and how it really works. And I think it definitely is something that we shouldn't fear, but something that should definitely encourage us. At the end of the day, it's something that's going to create a lot of opportunities for the youth, considering the extremely high unemployment rate. I mean, it's empowered people to start their own businesses. It's brought convenience into our country, and it's only going to get better from here. So I really do encourage young people to do some research and see how they can use the digital age and social media to better themselves and empower themselves.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Guys, you've educated us so much, and I think the fear and the anxiety that maybe young people might have literally has dissipated just from the couple of minutes that we've had this discussion. So a big thank you, right, Mko?
Yeah,
sure.
It's a very nice conversation that we had. And of course, Mbogeli, we did ask you to send us your comments, and this is your suggestion for next week. Take a look.
Hi Expressions, Ikama Ubuhle Zulu. Firstly, I'd like to thank you guys for such an amazing show. It's really provocative and it does keep the people talking. We'll definitely gear ourselves up for the 4th Industrial Revolution. But for next week's topic, can we please touch on social media influencers? Are they a yay or a nay? How much influence do they really have on their audiences, and how do they actually make their money? Thank you.
At the back of that now, is the youth of South Africa ready for the 4th Industrial Revolution? Let's have a look at the poll results. About 40% of you said yes, and just about 60% said no. So clearly, Jackie, abantu abavumi. Yeah. Mbogeli, thank you very much for joining us. Namhlanje Kusehlwa. Cutting Edge is up next. From all of us here at Expressions, we wish you a spectacular evening going forward. Nsale kahle.
Ciao, bye.
Yeah, you don't want to smoke. Go that Bergen coast. They talk you like a joke. The streets they really cold. Nigga they really bad. Nah. Nigga they really mad. Nah. Yeah, you don't want to smoke. Go that Bergen coast. They talk you like a joke. The streets they really cold. Nigga they really bad. Nah. Nigga they really mad. Nah. Ice on my wrist, I ain't broke no more. City, that's a protocol. We be moving through the city, dropping on the low. She getting fake, she get 80 on the low, I know. But it's alright, I already got the keys. I'm on my knees, pray to God, I'm so the keys. Pay the price, I already pay the price. Sacrifice, I already sacrifice. You don't wanna smoke.